All right, welcome back. I hope you guys have all enjoyed your lunches and are ready and excited, got a new coffee. We've got our next speaker lined up, ready to start in about 2 minutes. I see that the attendee number is rising again quickly. Today we've got for you Andrei Lebowski. He's joining us from New Zealand, where it's about 5:30 a.m. So thanks for waking up this early for us. Now, if you don't know him, you might have actually read his work. He has authored multiple books. I think he wrote more than 600 articles, papers on, all of the things that he's an expert at now. And you might even know his blog, myvirtualcloud.net. I think it's been consistently voted as one of the top 25 virtualization blogs out there. So without further ado, Andrei, please tell us why you are here today.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for everybody attending the conference. And I only really have 15 minutes, and 15 minutes, as you know, is not enough to talk about new technologies and transformational technologies. But I would like to tell you a little bit on Datrium and why I personally believe is the best platform for VDI today. And I do have a lot of experience in VDI. I've done rollouts of hundreds of thousands desktops while working for a major corporation. Without further ado, let me get into that. So the agenda for today is fairly simple. We're going to talk about the VDI tuning stack, what I think is a reality in regards to tuning, why Datrium for VDI. And I see some vendors out there saying, oh, it's very easy. They integrate to make things very simple to deploy. But the reality is that day one is day one. What happens in day 2, day 10, day 100, day 1,000? How can storage vendors or infrastructure vendors help you to make your life as an administrator easy moving forward? And then a demo for conclusion. So I like to say that Flash changed the game in many ways, and storage used to be the Achilles heel of VDI, and that's why most VDI solutions failed in the past. But Flash really moved the bottleneck, and nowadays with Flash, most modern vendors can offer fast storage. So if everybody can offer fast raw storage, how can those vendors help you? And that's where I'm going to focus. In our case, Datrium can help you with storage, can help you with GPUs, can help you with hypervisor, can help you with movements of golden images, can help you with Windows guest file restores. And there's some of the things where I want to focus. But you need to understand first what Datrium is. So Datrium is primary storage. We remove the complexity of existing traditional legacy solutions like SANs. So remove zoning, masking, LANs, and make it very simple and easy to use the solution. We are also a backup solution. We call it split provisioning. We maintain a primary storage, but we also make redundant copies, erasure-coded copies of all the data in a data pool. And this data pool is separated from the primary storage. So we provide integrated backup. For those persistent desktops that you need to maintain a backup, we do offer long-term archiving to public cloud. So you can store that either on AWS, on S3 buckets, or you can have on your own data center. And finally, we also have integrated and fully orchestrated disaster recovery. For some VDI solutions where you're using non-persistent desktops, maybe PVS or link clones, you might not need disaster recovery, just stand up different solutions in different sites, but there are still a lot of persistent desktops out there. So the ability to very easily fail over and disaster recover those desktops to your DR site or to your secondary site or vice versa is very interesting. And also the ability to fail over complete Citrix farms or Horizon View environments. So if you look at all of those together, this is what Datrium provides today. And I'm going to try to put it, of course, this is for many different types of applications, but everything I'm going to say here, I'm trying to put in the context of VDI. But we need first to understand where we're coming from, right? Because in the past, we had separate compute, storage, backup, and DR, and they were all different products. So very complex to integrate, to make sure that they work together. Then around 2010s, we had HCI starting. And then at that time, we kind of integrated primary storage into the servers and the software stack. But backup arrays and deduplicated backup arrays were still a thing that is completely separated. And now Datrium is taking the next step and integrating all that together. So if you look at the picture on the right, you see that Datrium integrates compute, primary storage, backup, DR, and cloud conversions, which I'm going to talk in a second. Okay, I say Flash moved the bottleneck, but just Flash alone, it might be okay for non-persistent desktops. It might use PVS with just straight SSDs in the server, and that works fine. But when you use doing that at scale, just raw SSDs won't cut for you. You need enterprise data servers. You need deduplication. You need compression. You need erasure coding. You need to protect your persistent desktops. You might need encryption. So I'm happy to say that Datrium is today the world's fastest storage array solution or storage solution that provides performance with all the data services turned on. And we know that not only because we tested, but because we partnered with Dell and IOMark, and IOMark is a standard benchmark, and they did this benchmark. You can go to iomark.org and download this paper, where it proves that Datrium is 10 times faster than the fastest HCI solution out there, and 5 times faster than the fastest all-flash array. And that's all good, but at 1/3 of the latency. And when it comes to user experience in VDI environments, this is critical. Latency. You got to drop your latency. And all that with all those data features turned on, which is actually interesting because Datrium has all the features on all the time. We don't disable features. We believe that the system should have everything on. You don't have to compromise in different aspects here. So when you look at the Datrium enterprise cloud platform, everything that we offer would be in this picture. So on the left, you have servers, Datrium powered by Intel or AMD, and we have a software that runs in there in the hypervisor in vSphere. We also support Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization and KVM, but in the case of VDI, most likely we're talking about vSphere here for most cases, where we have local flash and all the VMs run locally from flash on the host themselves. We provide what's called data locality. But then we have what's called a data pool. And this data pool is made of data nodes that you can scale when you need capacity. So we allow you to scale compute independent of capacity, which is very different from HCI, where you scale everything together. So from a server's perspective, you can go from 1 to 128 servers, and from a data node perspective, from 1 to 10 and up to 2 petabytes in capacity, all in a single domain, in a single namespace, in a single vCenter, if you will, or multiple vCenters. So this is what goes on-premise, where you run your VDI. We also, as part of that, provide all the enterprise data services that you expect, right? The duplication, compression, erasure coding, replication, DR, and so on. Now, we have on the right side, Cloud EVX. Cloud EVX runs today on AWS. It will soon run in different clouds. And we replicate all the data either to a secondary site or to this bucket there. It's also fully duplicated, and you can have multiple sites replicating to that same bucket. And then you're able to restore everything from there. Now, how do you restore is the interesting piece, because one thing is be able to replicate, but how do you do the entire orchestration? And that's where CloudShift comes in. CloudShift is a software as a service solution that enables you to control the replication, but also completely orchestrate and automate what should happen if you have a failure, as an example. Across all that, everything is deduplicated. It's what's called universal deduplication, and everything through a single pane of glass management. So if you use vCenter, you'll be happy that you can still manage everything through vCenter. So why Datrium for VDI? As I mentioned, it's very simple. Everything through vCenter. There's no knobs to be configured. Everything is on by default. Great experience using Flash on the host to accelerate. And because we don't have a strict HCL hardware compatibility list, you can pick your own server. You can bring your existing servers to be part of the solution. You know, you might need GPUs, you buy specific servers. You don't have to rely on us to sell you the servers or to specify what kind of servers you need to buy for your VDI. Predictable growth, you know, starts with one server and one data node, and you can grow all the way to 128 servers and 10 data nodes. And it's very granular, one by one. So it gives you like a very predictable and consistent growth, so you know exactly where you're going. Also on the security side, if you're concerned about security, we have what's called end-to-end encryption. We encrypt data on the host, on the wire, and at rest. So all the way through, and it's FIPS certified. And we do that with all the data services turned on at the same time. And we are very unique in that aspect. I don't think there is any other vendor on the market that can do that today. And as a pay-as-you-grow model, of course. So beyond storage infrastructure and replication, what can Datrium do for you? First of all, we have the ability to replicate your golden images, even if they are not attached to vCenter. They can be individual VMDKs or individual files or ISOs. We can replicate and maintain them up to date for you every 5 minutes. So that's something that others don't necessarily do, because most solutions on the market will actually replicate and snapshot VMs. We can do independent files that are not even attached to VMs necessarily. So we're able to reduce the inconsistencies across desktop pools for you. Now, if you're using VMware Horizon Writable Volumes or Citrix Personal vDisks, those are where user data may go, right? Your users may store data there, and they get connected and disconnected from VMs. And if they're not connected to VMs, there is no easy way to replicate them. So we can also help you with that. You know, you can select, create a protection group and add a naming pattern there and say, replicate this to that site, and Cloud DVX if you want to. And it's very easy to restore. And finally, disaster recovery for persistent desktops. You can do that. And you can do also for your Citrix farm or your Horizon View environment. All together is snapped at the same time, replicated. And as part of Control Shift, you can even either re-IP everything if you need. We can run scripts inside the VM. There's a lot of things that can be done. But what I'm going to demo now today for you, hopefully quickly, is the guest file restore. You know, if you have 10 users using VDI, it's okay. You go to backup, you restore. But at any scale, it starts to get a little bit complex. So Datrium enables you to provide individual files to users. Hopefully the video is going to work fine here. Okay, so I'm in a virtual desktop here, and going to the data folder files, and I'm going to delete a file. Okay, delete. Well, let's empty the recycle bin just to make sure it's gone. So now the user can put a call through support, say, hey, I need to restore a file. You know that that specific desktop is being snapshotted constantly. You can define the timing that you want there. I go into vCenter and the Datrium DVX solution, and I'll be able for that specific desktop to say restore a file, and I'm going to be given an option to select, okay, from which snapshot you want to restore. It might be from 5 minutes ago. It might be from 15 or 1 hour. In this case, we're just picking a random here snapshot. And I'm gonna now be able to go into the structure of the disk and find the file for the user that had that specific snapshot. Now, I say download the file, and the system will automatically create an ISO for me. And that ISO can be attached to the virtual desktop itself. Okay, it seems I have 2 minutes left. So create ISO. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the desktop, and I can attach the ISO to the user, to the desktop, and the user will be able to go inside that ISO and restore that specific file. So today this is done through vCenter, and we understand that users want to be able to self-restore, and this is where we are going with as well. So we plan to have a portal where users can do self-restore of the files, but the technology is already there to make that happen. Okay, now I just go into the ISO that I just connected, and I should be able to find the file there. There we go. And I copy back. So easy way to restore a individual guest file from any point in time, as long as you have snapshots running, and you can have up to 2 million snapshots in a Datrium system, and 2,000 snapshots per VM. And they can be local, they can be remote. There's a lot of things that can be controlled here. Okay, so let's try to move to the next slide. Okay, so Datrium today has hundreds and hundreds of customers in all sort of verticals, banking, financing, healthcare, and we did a benchmark with IDC as well, which proves like the ROI is very, very interesting for organizations, and the TCO is great as well. So just to conclude my presentation, I think I have few 1 minute left here. Performance, great. Use Flash on the hosts, some millisecond latencies, great for user experience. The more servers you add to the solution, and as you scale, you get more performance. It is a pay-as-you-go model, so you only pay for what you need. And the split provisioning allows you to even save on cost, especially VDI, where capacity, generally speaking, after deduplication and compression, so on, is not a big thing. Very simple, completely integrated into VMware management workflows. It's a single pane of management, and we can go well beyond just providing infrastructure for you. We can help you with your day-to-day management of the solution. Okay, that was a lot to cover in 15 minutes. Hopefully, you can play in slow motion that, and I think that's it. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll pass to the host.
All right, thanks so much, Andre. So we're going to quit this meeting now and jump over to the next speaker. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.